Zdravstvuyte and welcome. The second half of the season begins, and it is a track that is notorious for boring races, but we have the best of the best here. I think Russia is going to deliver. It is one of my favorite tracks for sure. I can tell you that much. Welcome everyone. This is the 7th round of the PSGL F1 here at Russia. Before we head onto the track, let's quickly look back at what happened last time around. Of course, it was at Monza, and it was Shazoo Christmas who got the victory for Mercedes. The full race results are right here. Vaster Racer second, Wouters third, a double Mercedes podium. It felt a little bit like reality. With Jordan then in fourth, that's where it ended. Williams in P4. Aero P5, Lee as the reserve driver in P6, a fantastic result for him. Dario 7, Juice 8, Recon 9. And Gamer got the only point for Haas in what was a very disappointing race for that team. Driver of the day, of course, was Aero after a very, very hectic race for him. Driver standings. We see Sparks, after not scoring a single point in Monza, still leading the championship by 13. Which is a second place plus the fastest lap. So if Wouters or Juice want to jump him, they need to win here tonight. And Sparks can't score all too many points. In the team standings, we see Haas obviously leading the way still with 20 points ahead of Williams. And Mercedes made a big jump from 6th up to 3rd with 58 points. Now Ferrari, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Renault and Red Bull very close in the bottom half. But let's look at the track today. It is, of course, the Sochi Autodrome, a 5.848 kilometer long circuit. We're going to have 27 laps here today. The first Grand Prix was held in 2014. We have 18 corners, 2 DRS zones. You can see them on the map right there. And you lose around 24 seconds in the pit lane. A lot is due to the reduced pit limit of 60 kilometers an hour instead of 80. You see the tires as well. The soft much quicker than anything else. And it shows the soft to hard being the desirable one. So it's the first one that shows. But we can assure you it's going to be soft to medium. The tires last that long around here that we definitely see soft to medium action here. I don't think we will see the hards on track. And with that, let's bring in the voice of PSGL, of course. It is the one, the only, Owen Wyatt. Owen, how is it going? How are you doing?
Hello, Austin. Hello, viewers, and welcome here to Sochi, a track which no one looks forward to, but I shall tell you, we are going to have a fantastic race tonight. Very much looking forward to this one. We've got the best grid in the world. We will make this one work. And we've got most of the cars out on track ready for this qualifying session.
Yeah, we have 16 cars already out. The only ones who aren't are Casper, Matthijs, and Timon. So maybe different Alfa Romeo strategy there. Maybe different F1 esports strategy. I mean, we're talking about Timon here. He was featuring in the virtual Grand Prix this, well, yesterday really. I was going to say this last weekend. Well, that was yesterday. On Sunday, he was featuring in the 5-lap race that then determined the grid for the feature race. So, Timon getting his name out there, you know, getting out into the F1 esports scene more and more. Obviously, he is leading the challenges on the PS4 as well. But, yeah, now all 19 cars out on track, and we are watching Jordan right now heading towards turn 2. Really, most drivers consider that to be turn 1, but, I mean, we do have a full-speed right-hand bend that is actual turn 1, but no one really considers it to be that. And, of course, the long left-hander there. We see all cars out on track, not one in the pit lane. Purple first sector doesn't mean too much for now. Obviously, the fastest sector so far was set by Juice, so we might actually go and watch him. Juice and Aero are very close. But Juice is going to be the first one to set a lap time, as he is now heading through the final sector. 90-degree corners, left, then right and right again. There's a Alfa Romeo going slowly. That must be Timon, as Mata is already on a lap. And across the line, line comes early here, very important. Juice 129.4.
Yeah, we're expecting low 29s, aren't we, today from most of these guys, if not a very high 28. I'm not seeing too many people in time trials do that, but we know if you get a lucky touchdown or anything like here, that could get you there. We're expecting it to be very close. And you can see, as you see, some times come through already. Under a tenth of a second, separating the top two, Juice and the championship leader, Sparks. And it's worth putting out, there's a few weird quirks you might notice through this qualifying session. One, I never understood this, why it's done like this, but they're hogging the curb on the inside of turn 3. You'd never get away with this in real life F1 because you'd be off to have an airplane accident if you tried it. And it's ironic because you can touch that curb where you like, but in the third sector, and I believe corners like turn 8 as well, those orange curbs are effectively like trampolines around here. Reminds me a lot of the way Italy was in the last game, where if you hit those, you will be on 2 wheels. So that's a lot to look out for here on this track. So don't be at all surprised to see some invalidation pseudo drivers just simply flying off the track. It shouldn't be that way, but it is important to point out that might well happen.
Yeah, one thing to note on those curbs, obviously I personally really enjoy this track. It is unashamedly my favorite, and I know there's a lot of people who are going to say, oh, Russia, really? Yes, Russia, as Matais goes P5, and we're going to then skip to Timon, who has invalidated, and he's going to start a new lap. But yeah, obviously with it being one of my favorite tracks, since I do run a lot of streams on F1 and open lobbies and that sort of stuff, obviously this track comes up quite a bit. You said 2 wheels, Owen. I have had incidents where I did go over those orange curbs on the inside, and it was 0 wheels that had contact to the ground. So it's certainly very risky. I've never had that on any other track on this game, but here, the orange sausage curbs on the inside can be quite deadly, especially, let's go on board with Timon. Here, this one can be tricky through the right-hander. And this one, the next left-hander here, this is definitely the airport strip, the airport landing zone. This one is quite mild. You can really take a lot of that one. And then I feel like the car is too slow heading towards the next couple of corners where, you know, you don't really have the speed to go to 0 wheels or really even to 2 for the most part. But you need to use this quite a bit as well. This one is fine. And then another one I had an issue with was this one here. And that's not even the final one. This one here is fine again. You can really abuse that.
It's this next one's the one that always gets me.
The right-hander that Timon isn't going to take. Look on the left side here. That orange sausage curb could really... I got launched into the wall before. I tell you that much. Straight on into the wall. I've had that happen. So...
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it?
it really is.
You see,
yeah.
This is one thing, though. Like, despite all this, I'm sort of with you. I do kind of like this track as well. I think it's not given enough respect, this track, because of how bad some of the racing has been. But there's been some pretty decent races around here that people don't give credit for. Watch the 2015 race, okay? It's a banger, but people don't seem to like it. Honestly, it's a decent track. The 2022 regulations will do it justice, but for now, we're going to have to do it justice. And we do have some more laps going on. Christmas, Dylan, and Ferrari are all doing laps. They are 3 of the 4 that haven't set a time yet. Obviously, timing being the other one who's in the pits at the moment. Skies are looking quite dull, but doesn't seem to be massive amount of worry about rain yet.
Oh, Christmas runs into traffic here. Oh my.
He's alright. He's alright. I think Ash moved out of the way, didn't he? Might have put him off a little bit, but it shouldn't be any issue. I hope.
Yeah, we'll see in the second sector. He was down as Dylan invalidates. He was down 1/10 on the pole sitter right now on Juice in the first sector. We're going to have to wait what the second sector split says. And it is another 10th enough. So he didn't really lose that much. Yeah, fair enough. He didn't lose that much. But it's an interesting lap as Ferrari has also invalidated. So we can fully focus on Christmas now. Last race winner out in Italy. How's he going to do here? Final corner. You want to carry as much speed as possible through it because the line comes early and it is P8, 129. 7-2-1, just behind Zeus. I mean, we say this every single Monday, but it still holds true. Look at how close it is between the top 15. Half a second.
I think there's still a few tenths of improvement to be found in there as well. This will certainly be very interesting. With being this close, that little improvement of even a tenth could be massive today. Aero's now started up a lap. He's up in his first sector, but yeah, it really is so close right here, and it's not even a surprise anymore, is it? It's just the norm. It's incredible how consistent these guys are, and it's a pleasure to watch it. It's good to see all these people doing so well, because like I say, as you mentioned, that virtual Grand Prix, plenty of drivers in there like Danny Yarno, Timon, that we've watched come through the ranks here, and they're doing all the big stuff. If you really are watching the best of the best, and they're proving it week after week. As improving sector, improving still.
Yeah, there's a couple drivers improving right now. Sparks 10th and a half up, Aero a 10th up. Jordan with the new purple first sector. Hello, this is interesting. Sparks with the purple middle sector. Alright, I think we're watching the next provisional pole time right here with CRG Sparks. We're going to switch to Jordan right after that because, again, purple first. Aero actually does go first instead. Jumps everyone here. But Sparks should beat that, and he does by over a 10. Yeah. And now we move to Jordan because Jordan's first sector, again, purple. Second sector, another 10th and a half improvement. Slightly worse than Sparks, but overall...
He's gone exactly the same time as that. Is this the exact same time as Sparks for you? What a lap. That is so
and Jordan third.
Behind.
How is Blizzard ahead of Sparks, though? Hold on a second. This isn't...
I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't
not meant to happen, is it?
Regulation. The regulation says if the time is the same, the person who said it first is ahead. However,
does the game go to a fourth decimal point?
I think it does. I think it does. I've seen it before. I've seen it over 10 years ago on R Factor. 1, not 2, 1. I think F1 has the same capability. So Blizzard winning this on the fourth decimal here over Sparks. I mean, you can't cut it much thinner, can you?
It's incredible. I think Ferrari, has he just gone fourth as well? That's a good lap. We haven't seen him massively this high before. He's got the number 15 on his car. It's finally paying off. My number, in case you didn't know. So he's in fourth place. I've retired anyway. It's not really mine. Oh, ignore that. Onyx, what is this? 0.04 of a second between the top four. This could be the closest qualifying session yet.
Yeah, but there's still 6 minutes 40 seconds left, so we still have a long way to go here until...
Plenty of time to make it even closer, Austin.
Could be, or we could have someone who's just driving away. But it seems like this track really doing well for a lot of drivers. There's Timon now heading through the final 2 corners, the last corner really now, and it is a P13. This is the difference. You are less than half a second down on your fellow CRG drivers. Instead of P1, P2, P4, all of a sudden you're 13th. I mean, it's astonishing, really. But the one thing that I've noticed, as we're probably gonna head towards Gil and look at his last couple of corners, it seems like the drivers that are in the F1 Esports Series challenges, as Gil has taken a very wide line there, but still an improvement, no position gained, but certainly 0.6 of a second. With the F1 Esports Series Challengers drivers, they dominated last season. Obviously, Gil winning, Matai second, Timon was in there. You know, we had Vasta Racer being near the top. We had Domi doing very well. Now, all of a sudden, most of them have taken a little bit of a back seat. Do you think that the stress that they're under, the pressure that they're under from the challengers, plays a role in this?
It certainly adds a different dynamic to it, because it's not like, if say you're in F2, if you have a bad season thinking, oh, I might fall down to F3, but if you have a bad season here, and you're already in the esports team, that puts you under pressure from the rest of the grid to take those esports spots, and you could fall down, which makes you less likely to get the esports spot. There's a massive amount of pressure on these people. So the ones that aren't in the teams have less to lose, effectively. That might be why we're seeing sort of upside down results. It's very exciting, isn't it? I'm sure the F1 Esports teams will be watching this and thinking that it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, meanwhile, we are looking at Christmas here. Purple first sector, and it is, in fact, the purple first sector. So not just the graphic on screen has shown that, but also our telemetry tool. Because sometimes it shows purple on the map that you see on the right-hand side of your screen, but it's not actually purple. But this one is a proper one. And so Christmas might be on his way from 15th right now. Half a second down. Second sector, another improvement, another purple.
He's on for it.
Wow.
Yeah, lap so far. This is fantastic.
We're going on board for the last sector here.
This could be a real game changer this lap. The man who got a mark last week with that win.
No, he goes in the pit lane.
Pit. Interesting.
Two purple sectors and he aborts it. I do not understand that at all.
He's basically, I'm assuming that he thinks he can do that again on this final run with that little bit more track evolution. Maybe there's half an extra tenth in there.
That is a gamble and a half.
That half a tenth separates the top four. That might be why he does it. He needs that half tenth.
Yeah, everyone's coming in now.
It's a silly decision, but let's pretend it's a smart decision until it goes wrong, because I'm sure it will work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. I'm really not sure. We have a Haas out. That is that a Haas? No, that's a Williams. That's Juiced. Look, the colors are too close. The white of the Williams, the gray of the Haas, the pink of the Racing Points is all too close for me. I can't tell this apart. My eyes aren't the best anymore. Okay, I'm 27 now, turning 28 in less than 2 months. Just cut me some slack, please.
so can we call you a color commentator anymore then? That's a dreadful joke. Let's move on.
Well done, Owen. Well done. That's a good one. Got it. Yeah. That's a good one. Well done.
I might retire after that, actually. See you next week.
Right,
let's just move on swiftly from that.
2 minutes 20. This is crunch time now for all the drivers. This is where you set your best lap time. This is the moment everyone's waiting for out of these 19 drivers. Best conditions on track, best tire. You know, this is the one that you need to actually bring it for. If you don't get this right, you're most likely going to find yourself outside the top 10.
Most likely, yeah, especially when it's this close. It's under 0.3 of a second. That's a lot of time. For people to nip into if you do mess it up. Juiced is the first one to start a lap, and he's going to come out. Will he try and take a bit of toe? He could have taken a little bit of toe off Gill there. He will have the two Renaults in front of him, and then after that, it'll be free air. But he just got to hope that those Renaults don't get in his way. He gets by Casper, no problem, because like I say, they're hugging that inside line at turn 3. They're all over the curb. Slightly unorthodox way of taking the corner if it was in a real car, but luckily it's not a real car, so you do get away with it. Ash Best as well moves out of the way, and Juiced is up in his first sector.
Yeah, purple, 32.4. He's slightly faster than Jordan's time, so that would improve. Jordan, meanwhile, with the fastest first sector. Best middle sector was by Domi, who's all the way down in 10th, and then the best final sector, Spark. So Blizzard doesn't own any of the fastest sectors, but his overall time was so good that he is still leading right now. As we see Juice now heading to the end of the second sector. Line comes right here. 2/10 up. That would be good enough for pole position, but the final sector is coming. And it could be danger here. You gotta get everything right, every single corner. For Juice, it is a purple middle sector, but the purple first has been taken away by Jordan. Yes, has been taken away by VSR Jordan, who held it before and now holds it again as Juice comes across the line. And it is P1 for now.
And Recon's coming up next. He was half a second up in his middle sector. That might well get him into the top 10 as long as he had a good final sector. Here he comes. Let's see where he goes. He's right at the bottom and he's right up to second place now.
Wow.
And we've still got more coming. They're going to come thick and fast. At the end of this session, there's Dario going P11. We've now got Alfa Romeo's coming. We're going to have Onyx first, or Matthijs. He goes up to P1 first into the 28th. And timing his teammate was in F1 Esports yesterday. He's 4th on the grid today. As it stands, we've now got Aero coming around the final corner. He's invalid, so he's going to stay 9th at the very best. Jordan, let's see how he does. He's behind his team from the qualifying session. Let's see if he can go up ahead. He's into 2nd place, but still, no one's getting near that P1. Ferrari back up to P4. We've got Haas coming up next. We've got Sparks. He's up to P2. Lee, his teammate for today, he's invalid, so he is finished. Domi also invalid. A few invalidations are really going to cost people here. Blizzard's on a really decent lap. He goes up to P2. It's equal, but this time he's behind. Christmas goes up to P4. We've got Dylan Warren going P10. We've got Suso coming around the final corner himself now, and he's going to go up to 12th place. We've got a Mercedes of Wouters around the last corner. He's down on his lap so far and only goes up to P14. And then next up, we're going to have Ash, Best Gill, then Casper at the end of the session. So here comes Ash first, round the final corner. Where's he going to go? He's down in 18th, now up to P11. Gill was last, stays last, and Casper comes to the line. He goes P11. And look at that. Is that justice for earlier, do we think? Equal between the top two, but this time it's a CRG of Blizzard behind. Still CRG 1, 2, 3. But yeah, what a bizarre timing system we've got, huh?
Well, Owen, it needs to be said, I don't know what it looks like on your screen, but on my screen, Matthias has a 128.920 and Blizzard a 128.921, so...
right, well, mine's equal. I've got that wee plus-minus thing on mine, so apologies for that.
Oh, do you have it on... Do you have it set to leader? Oh, yeah, then it shows equal. Yeah, so the difference... So I think that basically confirms that there is actually a 4th digit, a 4th decimal in it, and it's so close that the rounding makes it look like it's a whole 1,000th of a second, but it's less than that.
It's under a 1,000th of a second.
It's under a 1,000th of a second. I mean, the margins here, it's just absolutely unbelievable. We have the top 18 within, what is that, 0.6 of a second. Oh, that's a weird camera angle. As Onyx, we see his Alfa Romeo here on pole position. Is that Onyx finally back for good?
Let's hope so. It's good to see one of the challenger contenders from the last season up there. We'll go through quickly now. Onyx, Blizzard, Sparks, Christmas, Jordan, Juice, Ferrari, Recon, Timon, Warren, and then outside the top 10, you've got Casper, Ashbest, Aero, Suso, Lee, Faltus, Dario, and then the two Alpha Taris, Tommy and Gil. Gil, who's nowhere near the pace. He's really struggling this season. It's a shame to see him so far down, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
His own teammate, let alone the rest of the grid.
Yeah, it really is. I gotta say, I wonder if part of it is his switch from pad to wheel. Because obviously, anytime, especially at this level, you do change your input device, it's gonna set you back, at least for a little while. Obviously, you're trying to adjust over time, and you're getting faster and you're getting more comfortable with it. But comfortability is a huge factor when it comes to driving at this level. You gotta be comfortable with the car, with your input device, with your whole system, with your chair or play seat or whatever you're using, and changing input devices like that, it makes for a lot more difficulty than you would like. So I would honestly, I think Gil, I think he still has it. I don't think, like, there might be some people that are thinking, oh, Gil is washed, you know, Gil isn't who he used to be. I think it's just the input device. Give him, I think season 28, he'll be back. This season, you know, he's really just using at this point to get used to the wheel. But just give him season 28 and he'll be right there with everyone at the very top again.
Yeah, definitely. Don't write him off for too long. He'll certainly be back. It does take time. When you're in the top tier, you'll notice that a lot, isn't it? When you change. And yeah. You know, the more races he does, the closer he'll get, I hope. So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about his progress for the race, hopefully, because the only way is up from last. And we shall go through everyone's tyres now. No one's on the hards, as usual. As we've said, you don't want to go near them unless you have an incident on lap 1. That's really the only place we'll do it. We saw that work in Monaco, but that's because it's Monaco where it was so tight. I'm not sure it'll work every week, but anyway, we've got obviously the top 10 on the soft compound tires that they qualified on. Suso and Lee are also starting on loose soft, so they'll be looking to get up to the front of, get in front of Aero, Ashbest, and Casper on front. And then the back are also Valtteri, Dario, Domi, and Gil are also on the mediums. And yeah, pretty bog standard strategy. One stop, simple as you like. It's all going to be about what they do on the track rather than with their strategy.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that could spice up this race a little bit, is introducing, tire compounds that are a little bit less durable than these ones, because then all of a sudden it's more about, saving the tires, because it's hard to overtake around here to begin with. So maybe different tire wear, different strategies might open this up a little bit and might make this race, might make this track more interesting. So, we are where we are, but let's quickly introduce the track. It is, of course, the Sochi Autodrome right there. 18 corners, 5.848 kilometers. And we see the two DRS zones here at the end of the main straight and then on the back straight. We see the elevation. Quite a bit of elevation, you wouldn't think about it. The most interesting part about it is the corner that they're heading towards in terms of going up and down. It's turn 15, this left-hander, the last left-hander on the track, this one. You go up, and then you see here how it drops down. And it's really, really interesting, because that's an added element at the end of the lap, where you think, first part, okay, easy going, but then the last four corners, they can be quite tricky, even though they're 90-degree corners, just like sort of Baku reminds me of a little bit, with a little bit more runoff area. But that elevation change, that can catch someone out. That it makes it easy to spin the rear tires, and it's something the drivers need to watch out for.
Absolutely. And, as they land onto the grid, it is worth pointing out that in real life F1, we've always seen this second row of the grid be just as strong, if not stronger, than the front row. We saw Valtteri Bottas take his first win by coming from third. We saw him really take the lead in last year's race here from third on the grid. Vettel, 2019, third on the grid. The slipstream is massive down to turn 2. So when these 5 outs go out, this could be a very interesting run. It's Onyx on the right, Blizzard on the left, and we are away in Sochi. And let's see how Sparks does get off the line, because look at Blizzard, he's straight into the lead already. Onyx is not got off the line well at all, and Sparks is straight into the slipstream. He's trying to go alongside for second place. I think Blizzard should be alright for the lead. He really did get a fantastic launch. But Ryan outside goes Sparks anyway, and Ryan goes Onyx. He's gone off the track as Spark, but it's now side by side. Surely he's going to have to back off there, and that is going to be a disaster for CRG Matthijs, because he's way down the grid as a result of that. Timing up to P7, he's fighting away still, and I believe we're all staying green through all this. I think everyone's able to get away okay. But yeah, drama at turn 2. I wonder what the stewards are going to think about that, if anything.
Oh, there's a front wing going. There's someone's front wing going. I don't know who that was, whose front wing that was, but I saw a massive part flying off, and I think that was, yeah, indeed, it was VSR Lee, the Haas, who lost quite a chunk on the left side there. I don't know. I think he ran into the back of Ashbest there. The Alfa Romeo lost himself a couple of places, and yeah, he's just sitting duck at this point, isn't he? I mean, you see, they're all slipping through. He's falling down the order. He's going to have to pit. On lap 1, is he going to go on to the hards? That is the question.
He's got no real option, does he? As Matthijs goes up into P10 and straight by Casper, who's on those mediums. He's really struggling to get the traction out of the corners at the moment, is the Renault driver. But yeah, that is interesting in terms of the championship, that as well for Sparks, because he's turning in quite sharp into turn 2, because it's effectively 3 wide. So that's why I'm wondering what the stewards will say about it, because obviously that championship lead, if you get a penalty, it costs you points, obviously, after Sparks. So I'm sure he'll be thinking about that in the back of his mind. But that sort of did prove my point. If you didn't get a good launch of pole, that second row would be after you, and they were, and it has cost Matthijs dearly. It's a real shame, but let's see if we can get up the grid anyway.
I mean, the one thing we can already fairly assume, I think, is that there's gonna be a CRG debrief about all of this, where they're gonna talk about it and talk about what they can do to avoid that next time, because obviously that hurts a little bit to see drivers from the same org, from the same esports team come together. That's something you never want to see. It's basically the equivalent of drivers from the same real life team coming together, just in the esports world. So you never want to see that. And yeah, really, really bad here for Matthijs. He's gonna have to work his way up. The one salvation I would say that he has is that there is no damage from what I can tell. Let me quickly see, just to make sure that I got my stuff right here. Yeah, no damage. The only one with damage right now is Aero on the left front wing, but 19%. He might see it, but I don't think that it's gonna matter too much. Actually, it's not even, it's barely visible. Like, yeah, I don't see much there, so it might just be light green on his screen, so he might not even notice much about it.
Yeah, hopefully he can just keep going with that. It is very minor damage, so he's continuing anyway. Interesting point out, by the way, Suso and Lee, when they pitted, they didn't even go near the hards. They have just gone straight for mediums, so they really are just avoiding that hard compound tire, regardless of the situation. So I'd be surprised that gets to the end, to be honest, but maybe they will. I don't know what reason they wouldn't go on them for. So yeah, they're going to the end on mediums. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, honestly, considering that the medium tires are quite durable around here. So that maybe they can go the whole race distance, and they fancy their chances on the mediums more than the hards. I don't blame them, honestly.
Yeah, they're doing the old Nico Rosberg strategy around here. Just take a set of tires the whole race. So that's what they're gonna do.
Hey, he's a world champion.
Hey, well, it worked for him, so it might work. Well,
yeah.
Well, he didn't win the race, but you know, still he did it. But yes, they'll do that while the rest of the field are in the DRS train, which we have spoken about every race pretty much. It's the constant with this game, with this grid. And it's all about, like we say, who's going to be the first one to break it and who's going to be the first one to start fighting. None of the medium runners have got ahead of any of the soft runners, which is brilliant, which means there's going to be nothing going on there. They can focus on their own strategies, I guess, stay out of harm's way. Doesn't help the racing particularly much, but it just does mean towards the end that it'll help their strategies work a little bit more smoothly. They're getting the DRS down towards turn 2, and I believe, what's it, turn 10, 11? I forget the corner numbers, but it's banana straights. None of them really straight on this track, are they?
Banana
Makes it really easy to overtake. Even easier.
Yeah.
But,
meanwhile,
you can get good fighting around here. You really can, actually. It's just about how much they want to do it. I had a good few races on here on the last game anyway, where you could really go for it. So I do have high hopes that they do get into a fight on these banana straights. You can actually get some good flowing stuff out of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, these drivers are thinking, you know what, if I start battling here, the DRS train breaks right in front of me, and that's the last thing you want. But talking about the tires again, we see the top 10 on the softs, we see 11 to 19 all on mediums, with obviously Suso and Lee having pitted. But I think the one thing that saves the medium runners right now is the fact that P11, the one who is basically, whose task is to hold the gap under 1 second to the next soft runner, it's Casper. It's the F1 esports driver in here. The Pro Series driver, I should say, because F1 esports are many of them, but the Pro Series driver here. So, you know, you've got one who is capable of keeping touch with the cars in front, even on a worse tire, and he's doing absolutely fantastically right now to stay within a second and keep that DRS train alive behind him on the mediums.
Yeah, and like I said before, it does help that it's all mediums behind him and all softs in front, so they don't have to worry about any silly squabbling. They really can just focus on what they need to do, which is, as you say, hold that DRS gap. So they are doing all they need to do, and they're very happy that they've got an esports driver leading that train. But yeah, looks like Christmas has just fallen outside the DRS range.
Yeah.
Will he get back in? He's got a corner to do it. As Ferrari gets a penalty and has lost some time as well, and he is back into the DRS just in time, Christmas. First little scare for him there, though. He isn't really holding on to the batter of Ferrari particularly well, is he?
Yeah, but then again, the question is, how much of that is due to what we are seeing behind Ferrari's name there with that little black and white flag of indicating a penalty? So maybe, you know, the only reason that Christmas can't keep contact to Ferrari is because Ferrari is taking some liberties here in the early stages of the race with the track limits. You see now, over a second, the DRS detection point for the main straight is coming on the main straight. It's very close to the actual DRS. In fact, it's almost on it. I mean, you hit the detection point, it's like 50 meters, and then you open the DRS. At least that's what it feels like. Christmas doesn't have it.
He does not have it. So that is him. Looking behind him, maybe a little bit worried, and recall, maybe his eyes are just lit up there. And Matthias, he did pit. He's gone onto the mediums, like we've seen. People are confident they'll go far. This could be an inspired strategy to get him back up the field after that accident at turn 2 on lap 1. Let's see how he gets on. Because he'll have that whole track to himself.
I mean, this is the undercut of dreams, isn't it? When you go so early that all of a sudden everyone's like, wait, hold on a second, what happened there? And before they know it, he gains 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. You can tell that the couple of shots that we got of him behind Dylan Warren, you could tell he was sort of pushing and he wanted to get past and he just couldn't. So it's very interesting to see here that Matthias says, you know what, instead of being stuck behind these 9 soft runners, I'll just go into some clean air. And he's doing exactly that, and I think it might be working quite well, as Casper has now completely lost touch to that front 9 because Matthias went into the pits. That gap all of a sudden is no longer between Casper and Matthias. That's up between Casper and Dylan. That's massive. 1.7, 1.8 seconds right now.
Timing's in as well, look. So it's Alfa Romeo pulling all the strings in the strategy game today. No one else in the soft tire runners pitted. So Alfa Romeo really are. I don't even think you could really call this a gamble, to be honest with you. This is really potentially a very clever strategy call because they've done this at the moment where Christmas falls out of DRS contention as well. So this theoretically should mean that they both have a free run at that P6. Because Christmas isn't getting any DRS, at least, yeah. Because Christmas isn't getting the run on that DRS, that is going to slow him down. It just means, well, Matthias and Timon go for the fastest lap, which I'll assume they'll be trying to do as they are side by side. Don't trip over each other, boys.
He lets him by. Timon lets him by.
Don't want to fight each other. They're trying to work together at this stage of the game. While they're setting as fast as that as possible, Christmas is losing time. Although he has just got back into the DRS range, which will help him, but that lap and a half outside of it might have already done the damage. As Matthias through the first sector. Yeah, it's purple. So this is doing the job. It's doing the job, and he's dragging his teammate behind him. This is going to work out for him quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it right now. The question is, when are the other ones going to come in? Let's look at the leader right now, Blizzard. Is he going to park at the Racing Point garage? Sparks for Haas. Jordan, one of them could only come in, Jordan and Juice. And Sparks is indeed coming in, and Juice follows him. So we see direct reactions here to the pit stop by the Alfa Romeo. Sparks, Juice, Recon, and Dylan Warren. Half of the remaining drivers on the softs now come in at the end of lap 7.
I do wonder if that's a mistake from Blizzard and Jordan to not pit there. That might really cost them. We'll see, though. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Blizzard
for Blizzard... For Blizzard, I would say most likely. For Jordan, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Well, sure, exactly. He was the first one, but his teammate came in and they can't double stack.
1.2 seconds faster than his previous best for Matthias as he comes out of the pits side by side with Recon and just behind Juiced. That looks to me like they'd be fitting perfectly into that P6 at least. And my timing all over the back of Recon on those tyres that have been heated up. He has used all his ERS to get there, so he might struggle to get by, but I'm sure if an opening pops up, he'll take it.
Yeah, one thing to note here, Matthias, if you remember, before the pit stop was behind Dylan Warren. So he's gained three places from this.
Yeah. So this could even be P5, actually, thinking about it.
Could, yeah.
should be P5, not even P. It should be P5.
Sparks is going to take the lead. I can tell you that much.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now, Sparks is definitely going to take the lead. I mean, you see here 25 seconds, but still, we said earlier 24 seconds is the pit stop loss, but I think it might be a tad bit higher. But yeah, we see here now Blizzard, Jordan, Ferrari, and Christmas all coming in. End of lap 8. Apologies, end of lap 8. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna stay on Blizzard to see where he comes out. Obviously, Casper now assuming the lead of the race for now, but he still has to pit, obviously. And so it's only temporary as Blizzard now heading out. We look on the map. We see there comes Sparks. And Sparks. Oh, there he is. Yeah, but Blizzard has it.
He does indeed have it.
That was a good in-lap from Blizzard, I have to say.
Recon has just overtaken Matthijs. We're starting to have Christmas and Dylan Warren as well, further down the pack. So Recon fighting back there against the Alfa Romeos, and Christmas behind Dylan Warren. What a disaster for him. That's worked out terribly for him.
I don't know if he was held up or something. He may have been held up in the pit lane.
Ferrari. Might have been held up by F1 Ferrari, potentially. I wasn't watching, in all honesty, but I mean, he's miles behind Ferrari now, and they were right next to each other, so there's a potential there was some holding up going on there. Obviously, out of their control, isn't it? But yeah, either way, Christmas has lost out big time. Christmas lost out big time.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it. Being held up in the pit lane, it's just something that happens, and it's just you know, it's just bad luck really at the end of the day. And sometimes, you know, just like in real life, sometimes you have bad luck. And you know, if you remember, I think it was Sergio Perez at Bahrain, the first race, where he was in a podium position and his engine blows up two laps before the end. Sometimes you have that kind of bad luck. At least Christmas can still compete, and he's still in this race.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of time to go, but he's already fallen off the back of the train a little bit. I saw timing nearly went off at the chicane, or at least took a really wide line, so he's sort of struggling for grip and for pace out there. Meanwhile, these medium runners, they're all going to be waiting for a safety car now, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They'll take those tires as far as they possibly can, which is pretty much the whole race, and they're going to have to hope a safety car comes out, because obviously they'll have to choose the point, say lap 20 or something, to pit. But if a safety car comes out, you know, they've got plenty of range for that. More than other tracks.
There are two ways to play this for the medium runners. Either you try and go as long as possible and hope for the safety car, or you pit as early as you can to go onto the softs and take them as long as you can until the end, depending on how long they can actually make it. But they are quite durable around here, so that might be the other play. And then, really, if you're... Like, I can tell you right now, if I'm one of the front runners right now, Casper, Ash, Best, Dario, Wouters, Domi as well, I'm probably gonna pit as early as I can and get the softs on as quickly as possible. Whereas, if I'm Aero and Gil, 5 seconds off the top 5 already, you know, the drivers that started on the softs looming 7 seconds behind, I'm taking that gamble. And I'm going to stay out as long as I can, hope for the safety car, and capitalize on that if possible. So, really, two different strategies here. If I'm Casper, I'm not there to maximize my risk, but also maximizing the possible reward. I'm here for the smooth sailing, because he's been close to the top 10. Once he switches onto the softs, he should have enough pace to get by them one by one by one by one.
Well, that should be the plan, and we'll see what they decide to do. Like I say, it's good that they have so much range. It does mean we could see some varied stuff going on. But that, as we say, you know, safety cars might not even be a factor. So yeah, you do have to think about how late do you want to leave it for that. So that's why some people might just do their normal strategy, because these guys don't tend to crash out of races to cause safety cars too often because of their general skills. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they all do regardless. But yeah, we're now sort of in the waiting game stage, because these medium runners, I'd be very surprised if any of them decide to fight each other at the minute. And these guys, or at least the one side that are yet to pit on mediums anyway. And then the net leaders, they probably don't want to lose too much time either until they're back at the front again. So we're still going to wait a while, I'd imagine, before we get some proper racing because it's too risky at the moment. And Suso picks up a penalty. He's done in 18th anyway. Quite a long way behind, sadly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, one thing to note is that, as we see here, the pit window opens for Casper, lap 12, so he might actually go into the pit lane at the end of this lap. I don't know if that graphic is 100% accurate, but I can tell you, according to the in-game data, which isn't always perfectly accurate, as Aero now pits, because he had damage and he wants that repaired. Or will he have it repaired? That is the better question.
He will indeed. He has.
There you go. There you go. But the lifespan, according to the in-game data, the lifespan of the soft tire around this track is 15 laps. So lap 12 would be the first moment where you can go, well, maybe lap 11 as Aero just did, and now is in last after that repair, after that front wing change. You know, 15, 16 laps is what they can do. However, you might want to be careful because at the end these tires are not going to be in a good shape.
Yeah, we've seen it now. Last 2 races in a row, the tires being really stretched to the end, and even a few punctures as well when it does just go over the edge. So we know it's a risk. We've seen it happen multiple times, and yeah, you're just got to be careful with that one. Although on this track, again, I wouldn't expect them to go by. You just never know. I can't honestly say we were expecting it in Italy, and it still happens, so yeah. But will we see these guys pit? No, we're not seeing any of them. Not even Gil. I guess Gil has got the absolute least to lose by setting because he's not scoring points regardless, unless the safety car comes out, because of just where he is on the track. The leaders are right behind him, the net leaders should say. So, you know, he's got nothing to lose by staying out, so I imagine he will just take it as long as he can. But the top 5, when will they pit? That's the big thing. Because Casper, I mean, he's well clear of his teammate. He can do really whatever he wants at this point. Whereas Matthijs gets back past Recon. And Recon's going to fight back through turn 3. He did have a decent enough run. Doesn't have any ERS to fight him with, though. He might have had a chance, but decided not to. But those two, yeah, they've had 1 or 2 spotted positions. But Matthijs and Recon, not really anywhere near close to that sort of net top 5. Might be stuck fighting for that P6 for the rest of the day. Mind you, Ferrari's penalty will give them hope of the top 5 still.
Yeah, as
again, there's no
Blizzard
going ahead, so he can't build the gap.
As Blizzard is still the net leader of this race for Sparks, and net 2nd, Jordan 3rd, Juice 4th. But we're going to have to wait and see what the on-track leaders are doing as Casper. I assume at least 2 of them are going to come into the pit lane now. And yep, Ashbest is one of... Oh no, just one. Well, okay, my prediction was wrong, but at least one of them is coming in. It is Ashbest now pulling the trigger and deciding, you know what, this is early enough, late enough, whatever you want to call it, time to go on to softs and have a quicker second half of the race.
Valtteri passes Dario. This will help Ashbest out a little bit because those 2 squabbling, that would have lost him just a little bit of time. And Dolly wants to get involved as well, but Ashbest himself, where is he going to end up? He's going to be all on his own, isn't he? He's
16th, yep.
Going to have a lot of time to build, and that's what the rest of these guys are going to have to do as well. So at least they'll all be in free air. So I guess this fighting isn't going to damage him too much, and it's good to see it fight for 2nd place for once. It's actually happened, and a past happened. And yeah, hopefully that fight continues on. But yes, 6.4 seconds for Ashbest to catch up to the rest of the pack. He's got more than half of the race to do what he needs to do. So this should be easy enough for him.
And right now I would estimate the difference between the softs and the mediums is about 1.5 seconds between his fresh softs and the slightly worn mediums of Christmas and Dylan Warren. It's about 1.5 seconds. Which means in about 4 laps, Ashbest should be all over them and should have a very easy path past them. Not on DRS, but just on tire grip and being able to get a better run out of corners and maybe set himself up that way.
They're all still staying out, apart from Dario. Interesting. Right, so Casper, Valters, Domi keep going. Gil is even pitted. So, as we say, that Ashbest new soft tire would be about a second and a bit quicker a lap. So that could even be Ashbest ahead of Casper when he does pit. So that might be those three committing to something slightly different. Because I don't see why they wouldn't pit now. Seems a bit silly.
Yeah, I think they leave it a little bit too late there with Casper, Valters, and Domi. I think, yeah, they're not playing it right. Casper has good pace, but I mean, look at the time he's losing. If he pits now, he will be behind Ash Best actually, and that's certainly not what anyone wants there, especially not Casper. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised, to be quite honest, to see this. But, you know,
safety car strat, maybe. Safety car strat.
It could be. That's the only explanation, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't have pitted. So, yeah, we'll monitor their progress anyway. As Ashbest is now under 5 seconds behind Christmas. He was having a look at passing Dylan Warren, but decided not to try just yet. Sort of story of the race so far. They just don't quite want to fight yet. And
I think they're coming now. No, Casper's staying out again.
No. Safety car strat. That's what they.
Valters and Domi come in.
Only Casper's doing it.
Yeah.
But how often? Like Casper to try something like this. In fairness, it's not like it's the first time he's done something like this. And if it works out, it wouldn't be the first time it's worked out for him either. We all know what he's like, and we set his off. That's how he made his name in this league. So we'll see what he does. But it's certainly different to everyone else. And we aren't going to complain about that. A bit of a shake-up in the strategy. This is where this range in strategy comes in. But as you can see, Ash Best with the fastest lap. It was already a position lost for Casper, in a sense. And you can see how far ahead Ash Best... They aren't even out of the pits, the others, yet. There's the Mercedes now of Valters. So, you know, it's... Yeah, Casper had already lost out. Might as well try something different now.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, you're very much right. As Ash Best, gotta say, not catching the top 10, the net top 10, as quickly as I expected him to.
Really?
But
half the gap in 2 laps. It's pretty.
Was it 2 laps?
It was 2.5 laps.
It felt like more. If it was 2 laps, then I'd take that back. Apologies. I thought it was 3 laps. At which point it was a little bit slow on the pace, but if it was 2 laps, then fair enough. I take that back. I miscounted. Apologies on my end. But yeah, so by the end of the lap, what is that then? 18, mid-lap 18. Ashbest should be close enough to the rear of Christmas. Obviously, the one thing we can't forget
Casper's in
is that. Oh wow! Oh no, that is.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. He's gonna drop behind Dario. Maybe even behind Valters.
Situation, and he's gone home in this situation.
Yeah.
Well, we know how quick he is, so I'm sure he'll have pace. But he could have spent the last 2 or 3 laps using that pace, like Dario and Ash Best have been doing. Instead, he's been at the front, not really doing anything. And as you can see, Ash Best, who was about 1.4 seconds behind him when he decided to make his pit stop, it's now about 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds
to Ash Best. So it's a 5-second swing in just 3 laps.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Ash Best now 2.5 seconds off Christmas. He will be there soon. And he's taking Dario in tow, who just set a new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Ash Best might have a good shot here at gaining a whole bunch of positions. I think that's the guy we're going to have to look out for to make some moves in the next couple of laps. Once he gets there, 2 seconds now the gap to Christmas, and you can see it's coming down every single time. As Christmas gets another penalty, quickly looking at the penalty situation. Yep, 6 seconds for Christmas, 3 seconds for everyone else who has the penalties signal behind their name, that being Ferrari, Suso, Aero, and Gil. Everyone else, penalty free so far.
Look at ERS levels for all these guys at the front. I mean, this top 5 trim, they've all got so much to use. They're cruising out there. They're just saving their pace for some reason. I don't know really why they would do that, but because it's not like they're going to pass each other anyway if they're all doing the same thing. But I guess if they don't need to use it, don't. But yeah, there's potential for fighting. That's what I'm saying. Plenty of potential. I just wish they would hurry up and start because I'm sure Sparks wants to win a race. He had a bad one last week, even though he's got a big enough lead in the championship. This would give him, it would reinstate that one race advantage, wouldn't it? In terms of points, comfortably for him, if he was to win this one. And yeah, let's see. When's he going to pull the trigger? Because he's got a full tank of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really almost all of them do. This is outrageous. Let's quickly jump up ahead here. There we go. Yeah, Sparks is almost on 100%. Everyone else is at least at 65. Mata is the first one who's struggling. He's under 10% right now. So, yeah, really a bit of an issue there beyond the top 5. Matthijs, Recon both struggling on it. And then Time and Dylan Warren and... Well, Christmas got some, but, you know. Time and Dylan Warren rather low as well, under 50% easily. Time at around 30, Dylan Warren at around 20. So really not that good for any of them, but the top 5 just... They have more than probably everyone else on the track combined. Those 5.
That's also what I'm saying. They don't even need to cruise, so why not have a little bit of fun? But, gets them the result of the cruise, isn't it? So, let them be. But, here's Ash Best, has now caught up, and is in the DRS, and is using the DRS. As is Christmas, is he going to go for a move on Dylan Warren into turn 2? Yes, he is. Down the inside he goes. Contact. Off the track goes Dylan Warren, and Ash Best will be loving that. As Dylan Warren really takes that position off the track. What will the game say about that? It seems to have let him sort of do that. He sort of used that runoff area to his advantage there, Dylan Warren. I wonder what Christmas will think about that one.
Yeah, I think that might be...
He's sort of put in there, but still, I would have thought that, you know, he's entitled to go for the move, and it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that might be for the stewards to figure out after the race.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, regardless, Christmas is so many penalties anyway, it won't matter. Especially with Ash Best all over him and Dario and
Soon. Here goes Ash Best.
Yeah, there he goes.
That's like taking candy away from a baby. That's just... I mean, that's just not fair, is it? That was the easiest overtake I've ever seen on this track.
And they might get easier. Who knows? Maybe Ash Best is going to scythe through the whole field and be in the fight for this at the end, because he's still got a pretty decent... Oh, well, don't do that. He's absolutely had the biggest amount of oversteer through the uphill chicane. Difficult one, as you said. And that's caught Ash Best out over there. He's spun off. But yeah, if he can get his way up the field, he could be at P7 in a matter of laps. And then he'll keep going. As Jordan is trying... Oh, actually, well.
Timon just overtook Recon. And Dario just went past Christmas as well.
Yeah, the whole top 3 were within about a quarter of a second there. They're all considering going for moves at the same time. And that meant none of them went for a move. How bizarre is that? It's like they all decided to pull the trigger at the same time. And, oh, that's annoying.
It's getting wild. Ash Best on Dylan. Shoves him a bit wide. They're still side by side, but I think Dylan isn't going to be able to hold on to this much longer, is he? I mean, the tire difference... I think Ash is going to have this right here, and he does indeed. Nice try from Dylan Warren to keep that position, but I think it was almost doomed from the start. The moment you have Ash Best getting alongside you on those fresher soft tires is basically the moment you have lost, and we saw that right there. And now it might be Dario's time to go past Dylan Warren. They're side by side. We look alongside here. And we see, oh my goodness. And Dario is past.
He's tried. He's trying his best, isn't he, Dylan Warren, to defend it, but against so soft, it's just not possible. But you know what? Fair play for trying. That's good fighting there.
Absolutely.
Back up to the front, though. Are they going to try this again? Are they going to get very close to each other? Or because they've used some ERS in that last attempted attack. And, well, the answer is no. They're not going to try that again. Because, like I said, I don't know if you'd seen it or not, but all the way down to turn 2, Sparks had went for it. And Jordan was quicker than both of them, and they just couldn't fight, because if only one of them had backed off, there would have been a fight. But they all chose the exact same move. It's almost like they're communicating with each other or something. Right, let's make this look interesting, so just so they think we're trying. As Christmas gets by, Jen and Warren and that looking a bit familiar. We're 3 wide almost, and well, I wonder if Casper's going to get the 2 of them there. Thanks to all that fighting, Casper's up to P12, nearly up to P11, and Wouters is trying to get past his teammate.
And he does.
They head through. Sorry, interruptions there. I'm back. Right.
Oh. We're hearing a lot more noise from your PlayStation, I think, than we did before.
Yes, sorry, I had to go mute for a second there. But what I was trying to make, if I can remember correctly, is that they're fighting away, but those soft runners again are getting their way through. Reminded me a lot of the F2 race there, when they were side by side through turn 3. Ashbest now goes by Recon, and actually Ashbest up to P11. They're giving it a good go. These soft runners, give them all drive of the day, because they're actually doing something. Good lads. I'm impressed. Very impressed. I'm proud, in fact. Ashbest, I mean, who doesn't love seeing Ashbest doing this?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I gotta say, so much for Russia produces boring races, isn't it? I mean, this is fine. The last 5 laps, we're just gonna continually look at Ashbest making overtakes, I think. At least he's got 2 more that are easily within range, as Dario is now getting recon here as well. Into turn 2, got the inside, got the position done. There you go. So, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of overtakes left. Ashbest now running into the 2 Alfa Romeos, the 2 former VSR drivers. Remember, Ashbest is a VSR driver. Doesn't have it in his name, but he is a VSR driver against 2 former VSR, now CRG. Not that there's any bad blood. I think most drivers, regardless of what org they are part of, get along very well here. So, it's an interesting storyline, I think. To see Ashbest now run up on these 2. I wonder, is he going to try and get timing already right here?
He's a bit low on the ERS, isn't he? But it's still somehow higher than Timon and Matthijs. I think he'll just sort of take his time with these 2, because I think maybe in his mind these are the last 2 passes he needs to make in this race. And so just make sure he gets them done at this point, and then see after.
It's an interesting thinking, but I would disagree. I wouldn't take my time with it for too long, because you got to remember,
Ashbest, you don't have Dario. Well, actually,
no. Ashbest is on the softs. Timon and Matthijs is on mediums. The tire advantage with every single lap falls down. It reduces every single lap, because obviously the softs wear quicker than the mediums do. So I would try.
Sparks round the outside of turn 2, and there's contact. Off the track goes Blizzard. He's nearly into the wall, look. And we're now side by side. Jordan's got through as well. And Sparks is into the lead of the race. But again, there's contact as he goes side by side through turn 2. And Dario's got by Ashbest. Okay, I was completely wrong. Don't take your time. Dario's going to pass you. Of course Dario's going to pass you. I can't believe I forgot he was there. But Sparks leading the race. Now, what are the stewards going to say about the contact? I honestly think it's just racing into it. It's on the exit of turn 2. They just sort of converge towards each other with the line there. And it's just a little bit of contact. But Blizzard, who's been all on his own at the front, just conserving, now he's going to have to go back on the attack, because we only have 4 laps to go at this race. And this has just got very interesting. He's already coming back at Jordan. Like, he's using his ERS. And he wants to get past the Williams already. Can he get it through in the braking zone? It's going to be contact. They're not careful once again.
There is contact.
And there's no way through when you make contact there. As Sparks nearly goes off the track. Could Jordan sneak ahead of everyone here and take this lead? Because Sparks is not looking particularly comfortable despite having just taken the lead.
Yeah, meanwhile here goes Dario trying to get the move done on time, and he was alongside but didn't get the run through the uphill chicane of turns 15 and 16. I think now is the time to try that, although Matthijs is still giving slipstream to his teammate Timon. Yeah, slipstream, I mean DRS obviously. So it's going to be difficult for Dario, but not impossible. He's getting the run. Round the outside. Later on the brakes, they touch. Shoved off the track. Once again, that might be a penalty for Timon as well. I didn't even see that. Was that on the inside or the outside? But Timon keeps the position, and now the switchback. The switchback by
nice
Dario.
Move.
Oh, Timon squeezes him to the inside. Oh.
Sometimes you got to accept defeat, man. You've already given yourself a penalty. You're on slower tire. I think Timon, just give it up before you have an accident, because it's happened too many times with him where he's just not giving the fight up, and he's ended up in an accident as a result. Just take it. Just let him go. He's quicker than you. I know it hurts, but you'll save some points if you don't have an accident. But he is struggling, isn't he? Because, well, in fairness, he has got all sufferance behind him. He might not get points anyway. Here comes Ash Best on him now. Ash Best. Well, actually, sorry, no time is coming back at Dario. Dario wasn't using much ERS on that straight, was he? So they all sort of caught up. That's actually saved Timon from getting overtaken there. But back up to the leaders once again, because I do think that Blizzard there is going to be fighting away a very sort of frustrated man, I think, after being shoved off like that. Maybe, race incident or not, he was leading the race, he's suddenly third. Jordan, I still think we've been quite optimistic about this, having just, seen those two collide. He might be thinking, I can take advantage of this right now. And you can see him in the tow, just getting as far close to Sparks and as far away from Blizzard as he possibly can. This is going to be a very interesting end to this race, as Vouchers now goes past Ash Best into turn 2 and closes the line, and Ash Best is going to fall out of points with that one. Surely here comes Domi right round outside of turn 3, and that slide could prove crucial. It has indeed.
What a fantastic over to
the outside. Oh, he's off the track. That's not going to help him by, and indeed it doesn't. Domi back into the points again on this boring track.
I like how you say that, Owen. I gotta say. Anytime someone defends Russia alongside me, it makes me happy. But back to the racing here. Yeah, Jordan now putting a bit of a gap between himself and Blizzard. The question really is for Jordan, how much ERS can he regain until his attack on Sparks? If he can even launch an attack on Sparks.
Oh, into the back of Matthijs goes Dario. He's way too late on the brakes, and that's half his front lane gone. Well, that's possibly giving Vouchers a chance if he can get himself past in time at maybe stealing P6 at the end of this race, as Casper gets past his teammate, who actually has been hit, I think, up the rear by Dylan Warren. Shit, this isn't it, to see Ash Best falling all the way back down the field, back where he came from, as Vouchers is going to get by Timon, and then, like I say, with Dario's damage, should be through him at the end of this lap as well. It will give him one lap to try and go for P6 in his Mercedes. And Blizzard, right on the back of Jordan, but no way through yet. This is building to an interesting final lap, but it has to be said, Sparks has done well with his ERS. He's got more than enough to probably hold off Jordan, to be honest. Blizzard, I do wonder if Sparks might hold on to this, actually.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's happening to Ash Best right now is that these soft tires are basically done. I mean, you look at his tire wear, 50% at least, well, 45 on the front right, but 50% on all the others, with 54 on the rear left, now 55 even. So I think he's running out of soft tires to have and to use. So the early pit stop from Ash Best, as much as it helped him originally, now comes back to bite him here in the closing stages of this race.
Vouchers couldn't quite get by Dario. Obviously, it's soft tire on soft tire, but it's damage versus no damage. He's got to get by quickly if he wants to have a chance at P6. I'm not sure there's time for that now. I think Matthijs, with the earlier stop, it has earned him P6 as it stands, and at the front, as you can see, Sparks is pulled clear.
I think now's the time for Vouchers.
Yeah,
because
think it is.
Dario has no DRS.
Yeah. This has to be the final lap. The final laps for him, though, Vouchers, to try and get at Matthijs. Let's see if he can do it. As Casper into the points. He's ahead of Timon. Timon, who, yeah, he's got a penalty anyway, hasn't he? So I don't really think there's much point fighting this one back, as Domi around the outside of turn 3. That'll turn to the inside of turn 4. Are we going to have a Raikkonen and Bottas? That's the way they should have done it. As in, don't crash, just make the overtake. And that's exactly what Domi's done. He's up into P8. Juiced has a penalty. not really going to affect him or Ferrari, actually, the penalties. I believe they've both got 3 seconds each, thanks to all the fighting going on behind them. And just one more look at these leading bunch. Yeah, there's not going to be an overtaking there unless somebody makes a mistake. And I don't think Valtteri is going to have enough time to get Matthijs. He'll need some dive.
Well, Matthijs' rear left is on 70% now. Unlikely that it's going to puncture, but he's in puncture territory.
I'll tell you what, Valtteri, he might have a launch. He might, in the last corner, what's he got to lose, you know?
Yeah,
he's got quite a lot to lose.
I think we got to look at Sparks first as he's coming through the final corner.
His third win of the season as Sparks. He had to do it on track, wins the Russian Grand Prix from Jordan and a potentially quite angry Blizzard. Juiced and Ferrari had penalties, but it didn't matter. They still finished 4th and 5th. Matthijs 6th, fantastic strategy from him. Valtteri, Domi, Casper, and Dario in the top 10, with Ashbest just missing out by a 10th on a point. And then there's Warren, Timon, Recon, Christmas, Gil, Aero all over him actually, trying to go around outside in the final corner. That'd be a nice move, wouldn't it? Oh, he's spinning across the line. And he still gets ahead thanks to penalties. And Gil is 17th, and then you'll see Suso also spinning across the line. And Lee, who knows what he's going to do? He might try and reverse, or maybe he'll just do it properly like he should do. Yes, he's done it properly like he should do. Well, what a boring race that was, huh? Honestly, I don't know why we bother coming here. Rubbish track.
Honestly, the no overtakes, no action. It was just, such a bad track, But Sparks gets the victory ahead of Jordan and Blizzard. And if we look at the championship right now, that means... there's a couple people that are moving up the ranks, looking at it. Jordan moving up from P6 to P4 with his 12 points. Sparks at 71 is now leading the championship by 23 points. Because previous second place Wouters only finished in P7 here today. So that's just 4 points for him. And so he's now 2 points behind Juiced, who was third on 40 and gains 8 here with his 4th place. And yeah, I mean, this is remarkable. Second victory of the season for Sparks. It says second victory. I think it's his third, isn't it? Yeah.
Third, yes.
It says he's second in the telemetry, but yeah. It's a bit throwing me off here. But yeah, I mean, remarkable race. And again, if we look at the championship, we can't show you on screen, unfortunately. That might be something to work on for season 28, but for now we can't, so we can just tell you right now that Sparks on 71 points. Obviously provisional. We don't know what happens in the stewards' inquiries, but for now, Sparks on 71. Then it will be Juiced on 48 and Wouters on 46, with Jordan on 38. Timon unchanged on 36, drops down from P4 to P5. And then we have Blizzard on 32. Moves up from P8 to P6, so that's a good result for him. And yeah, we're gonna see. We can't even see the team standings, but I think Haas is still leading. I think that's safe to say. Haas is probably still leading.
Yes, I'd say you're probably definitely correct on that one. And yeah, I'm very interested to talk to these drivers actually when they come into the waiting room, because I really don't know what to think about that Chumman incident. I don't know how much of it you saw on the stream, but like I say, it did seem that the line converged in the exit of turn 2. I do think Sparks might well get away with it. I say it like he's done something horribly illegal, but yeah, I think he'll be alright with that, but we just need to wait for some drivers to come through. And speaking of which, here's Sparks. Let's talk to him, shall we?
Yeah, bring him in.
No, he doesn't want to be here. Right, shall we try again?
Left. Wow. Okay.
Right,
we're getting denied here today. There you go. Maybe this time.
That's not you denying our questions already, is it? Right. Are you going to stay this time, Sparks?
Yes.
Fantastic. Right. Well, first of all, congratulations on the win. Provisionally at the minute, we've got to say provisionally because I have a feeling there might be questions asked, and we might as well go straight. We might as well go straight into. Well, the movie turn 2. There was a little bit of concept.
Nah, that's not. That was a racing incident. I've talked to him already.
Good stuff. See, people respecting each other. Right, we've got Blizzard here as well. Might as well drag him in, and we do have Jordan coming as well. But yeah, might as well actually. There we go. Jordan's in here now. So welcome everyone, podium finishers for the Russian Grand Prix. Fascinating race, brilliant race. I know some people might not like Russia, but you put on a fantastic show, has to be said. So congratulations all round. And yeah, we'll start with the race winner Sparks. And like I say, that move, it must have felt pretty sweet then, because we don't often see moves to the win anymore, do we?
Yeah, I don't really know how to plan it, to be honest with you. I was sitting behind him. I was always getting bad exits, and I knew he was saving the ERS. We're in a party, and it was obvious by just following him. And then one lap, I got a good exit. And I think he knew I was coming from because he used a bit more ERS than usual. And then, yeah, I just went for it. Really, there wasn't really much to it. He bashed about, and yeah, it was. I don't know what it looked like in the TV cam or whatever you were watching on, but yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, we saw it on the TV camera, yeah, but as a result of that, I think you got a pretty big lead in the championship now, but I don't know the exact points. I'll let Austin ask you about that one. In fact, he is here. We sort of are talking over you for a while, Austin, but you can ask him a question.
Thank you, Owen. Very kind of you. But yeah, so Sparks, you're leading in the championship now by 23 points after this, ahead of Juice, who's now second. How does that feel for the last 5 races? You feeling comfortable now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, obviously it can still be lost, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We're still gonna keep our head down, that like we're last in the championship. But yeah, it feels amazing. Honestly, I didn't expect this point in the championship to be this far ahead with certain people behind me. So I'm very grateful for it, and we'll just look forward.
All right.
All right, then we've got the second place driver in here as well in Jordan. And the first thing I want to ask actually is because obviously you saw that move for the lead happening in front of you. Did you think there was a chance to steal that race in the end, or was the ERS just not in your favor by the end?
I think it was my pace, which wasn't really on point today. The whole week practice wasn't really fast. But it's always some people going really fast in practice and then lacking out in the real thing. And that is.
There was also one I wanted to ask about in the race. There was one point where the top 3 was all within about 3/10 of a second at turn 2. Was that a point where you all decided to go for the lead at one point? Because you all had saved DRS for quite a long time, and then it all seemed to converge at one point. It seemed to all, waiting for the same moment, and they all went at the exact same time for it.
Yeah, I was trying to push some ERS out, so maybe I put Sparks in a position where he can choose to back out and maybe let me attack or attack Blizzard. And I don't know, but maybe then they'll collide and I'll drive away. But that, unfortunately for me, didn't happen.
Anything for you to ask, Austin?
I'm thinking right now. Obviously, I could ask about the championship. You've gained 2 positions there, up to P4 now, 38 points. How much are you looking at that right now? Obviously, you are 33 points behind Sparks, so you're still in it, but it seems more and more unlikely, considering that's 2 full race wins, to catch back up to the championship lead. But what's your goal in the championship? You're only 10 points behind second place.
My goal is just to be the fastest, not really to win a championship or races. But if I know that I was the fastest in the end of the day, then for me it's good.
All right, fair enough.
Alrighty, we can move on then to the 3rd place finisher of Blizzard. And the first thing I want to ask you, actually, Blizzard, qualifying. That must be one of the closest qualifyings I've ever seen for a league race. That must be super strange, because at the first point you were 1,000th ahead, and then at the end you're 1,000th behind. Have you ever had a qualifying that close?
No, I've never been 1,000th behind someone for pole. Yeah, it was really close to the end, but after I remember that Russia's run down to turn 2 was so long, so I didn't think that it was too bad.
And what was with that start then? It looked like it was just Onyx had a bad start, and you just flew off the line. From there, you seemed to control the race quite well, but it just was it ARS or was it just Spark surprised you in the end when he passed you?
Yeah, the start was really good. I didn't expect to jump him so early. I thought it would be based off the slipstream. And the contact with Wilson, well, it was unfortunate, really. It was my fault, I think, as well. He did catch me by surprise, because I didn't think he would go for the move until like lap 25 or 26.
All right, fair enough. Anything from you, Austin?
You really took my question away about the turn 2 incident on lap 1.
Apologies.
Yeah, but no, I have a backup question, thankfully. So Blizzard next race is obviously Singapore. Is that a track that you're happy about? Is that a track you're looking forward to? Is that one of the, obviously being a city circuit, one of the tracks we think, oh, I can't wait until that's over?
Yeah, that I hate Singapore. I mean, endurance, you have to avoid a lot of penalties as well. It's just everything that's bad for me, really.
Was it Singapore you bend it in the final corner in that ILR race? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I still got roared at that one, luckily.
Yeah, I hope you practice that last corner a bit. But anyway, I think that's all our questions, isn't it? So cheers to the podium sitters for coming in, and congratulations. And I'll let Austin close the stream because I'm not in control of it, so I'll say goodbye, and then Austin will talk for like 2 minutes.
Indeed.
This is goodbye from me anyway.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let's quickly look at the calendar before we actually completely close this out. So Singapore up next, obviously starting tomorrow with the Formula Performance here on this channel. Then we have on Thursday and on Sunday more action around this endurance track. It really is, as Jordan already, as Blizzard already named it. And on Monday next week, that is February 8th, we will be back with the PSGL F1 here at Singapore. Obviously, we have PSGL as well. They're heading, I think, to Hungary, if I get that right. And so that's going to be fun to watch as well here on this channel. But from us here for this week and for this Monday, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week